Hey, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Waller's Wallet, and a question I've been getting quite a bit recently is how do I use my airline credit on my American Express card? And I get it. The airline credit on the American Express cards are not the easiest thing to use. So in this video, I'm going to tell you some ways how you can use that credit so you can hopefully get some value from it. Now, if you want a simple way to help out the channel, consider hitting that thumbs up button. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn that bell notification on as well so you don't miss out on future videos. Now, technically, the terms of the American Express Airline Credit say you cannot use this on airline ticket purchases, upgrades, mileage purchases, point transfer fees, gift cards, duty-free purchases, and even on award tickets. But what is covered on all of these airlines are checked bag fees, pet fees, itinerary changes, seating assignment fees, in-flight entertainment with the exception of Wi-Fi, lounge passes, as well as food and drinks when you're flying on the plane. But we have seen options beyond those mentioned actually be covered, and even some options that aren't technically supposed to trigger the credit are actually triggering the credit. And remember, this is for your selected airline. And at the same time, we are dealing with American Express, and they can always choose to decide to claw back these options if they wanted to. So if you're thinking about using one of these methods that work, while may not approve, you do want to keep that in mind. And I also realize some of you are not going to be comfortable with these options, and that's okay. Do what you're comfortable with, not what others are doing. But this is what is currently working right now. First thing you can do is actually partial pay on Delta. Now, if you outright pay for the airfare with your American Express card to use the airline credit, this will not work and you're not going to get to use any of that credit. But if you pay part of your fare with a gift card, then the rest of the fare with your American Express card, this has been triggering the credit. It looks like the payment is processing differently than if you just outright buy the airfare, which is why it's triggering the credit. And you do want the purchase that's going on your American Express card to be under what the airline credit is on that card. So for example, if you have the Platinum card, you want to make sure the payment purchase that's going on the American Express card is less than $200. And all you need to do here is split the payment at checkout and pay part of the fare with a gift card, let's say $50, then the rest on your American Express card, and this should trigger the credit. We're also seeing mileage boosts and award taxes and fees on Delta flights also trigger this credit. So with Delta, you do have a few options to use this airline credit. But using this credit for award taxes, even on cheap airfare split with gift cards, is a nice way and not a difficult way to use your airline credit. Then looking to United, probably the easiest way to use your airline credit right now for United is to use the United Travelbank. And what you can do is just go on and purchase funds on the United Travelbank site and pay with your American Express card. I actually did this myself with my Hilton Aspire card because I wanted to use my $250 credit. So I hopped on the United Travelbank website, I bought $250 in Travelbank funds. That charge is currently pending, but I have no worries that it's going to go through. I'll even keep you updated in the comments when it does go through. Now, I will need to use this on United operated flights, but that really is not going to be an issue, especially for domestic travel, because I can use it to fly my family somewhere. But this is currently a roundabout way to cash in your airline credit for United Cash to use on United flights. And you can just purchase the amount of your credit in one swoop if you wanted to. There's no need to break up this charge to make sure you hit the credit. So if you're looking for an easy way to use it and you fly United, this could definitely be a solid option for you. Then for American Airlines. Now, American Airlines, there aren't as many extra ways to use your credit as some other airlines, but that's just what it is. And there are data points showing it will work for mileage multipliers on paid fares, which honestly you would never really want to do if you were actually paying for it because you're paying about 3 cents per mile, which is just stupid expensive. But if you're someone who flies American Airlines all the time, this could be a useful way to use your credit. Then if you're someone who has elite status, you could look to purchase some of those 500-mile upgrades, and this is also triggering the credit. And lastly, seat upgrades also look to be triggering the credit as well. So if you either want to pick your seat or upgrade to more legroom, this could be a helpful and useful way to use this credit. Then let's take a look at Southwest. Now with Southwest, there are plenty of uses here, which makes it a great use for the Southwest flyer, especially if you're someone who has a Southwest Companion Pass. Now for paid fares under $100, we're seeing the airline credit being reimbursed to people. And for flights over $100, it's not. So you do want to try to keep that airfare under $100, and this should trigger that credit. This could also mean using a partial payment with a gift card, for example, to get the cost of the flight under $100 so the airline credit is triggered. You can also use your airline credit for the award fees on Southwest flights and things like early bird check-in as well. Now remember, if you cancel your charge after the credit has posted to your account, American Express has been reversing out that credit to your account. But with Southwest, you can actually have your refund processed as a travel fund to your Southwest account, so the charge is not reversed on your card and you get to keep those funds in your account to use at a later date. But having access to all of these options to use your airline credit on Southwest is actually a pretty solid option. Then for JetBlue, you have a couple of options as well. Not as many as others, but these are plenty useful for the JetBlue flyer, because we're currently seeing the taxes and fees on award flights triggering the credit, which is nice to see. If you're someone who decides to upgrade to a seat for the extra legroom after you've bought your ticket, this is also currently triggering the credit, but be sure to do this after your ticket has been purchased. Then we are seeing some paid fares being reimbursed as well, but the airfare needs to cost below $150. Anything over $150 looks to not be triggering this credit. So you could look to split up the purchase if you have multiple tickets in order to get this credit. And just like with Southwest and with Delta, it does look like the airline credit is being triggered with a partial payment on a gift card. You just want to make sure the cost of the flight is less than $150. Now, when it comes to Spirit and Frontier, I'm actually going to lump these two together because they're both low-cost carriers and they're pretty limited for use as well as with data points. Now for Frontier and Spirit, it looks like their discount clubs are triggering the credit, which is actually pretty nice to see. And for Frontier, you can even be reimbursed for flights under $100, but I saw nothing of the sort when it came to Spirit. But let us know if flights are triggering that credit for Spirit if you're someone who selected Spirit as your airline. But if you're someone who flies these airlines often, the discount club memberships could be a good use because it does get you access to lower fares and even some lower award cost fares as well. And the overall data points for these two airlines look to be quite low, so there's not much information out there, probably because not many people are choosing Spirit and Frontier to use that airline credit. So you might need to be the data point you want to see here if you decide to use them. Now it's actually really good to see some airlines having working options to use your airline credit, even if they are unapproved options, because it has been harder to use your American Express Airline Credit compared to the travel credits on cards like the Chase Sapphire Reserve or even the Citi Prestige. And I think at the moment, United, Delta, and Southwest might be the more user-friendly options here, although any of these options could be good for you depending on how you travel. But do be aware, because there is some risk here, because these options are not approved options. So while they might work today, these options could be closed down in the future to where they're no longer going to be triggering that credit. Then you also run the risk of American Express clawing back these credits, although I've not seen any shutdowns for anyone for the airline credits being clawed back. Because this is different from gift cards, since there's not a risk of fraud or money laundering here. Because if you travel and they credit you, great, but American Express may realize they gave you that credit in error, at which point they would just reverse out that credit. So this really all just comes down to your comfort level and if you're willing to try and use these credits for unapproved options. And if you're happy to do that, then go for it. Just know your risk. And if you aren't, just let this one go by and only use it for approved options. There's nothing wrong in doing that. So tell me, do you use your airline credit for unapproved options? Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in this video. If you want to help support the channel, take a look at the links down in the description below. And if you know somebody that could benefit from this video, feel free to share it with them. And until next time, safe travel and take care.